Streaming? We are streaming. Streaming? Simul streaming. Can we? And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Real Estate Show. We are South Florida's #1 program about real estate. We are America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. We are heard here live Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week, live at 5 p.m. Eastern, coming at you 5 different sources, which are our AM 1470, our FM 95.3, plus 96.9, plus our app. On the app, you can go to your app, our app, the WNNN app, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the radio.com app, the Spreaker app, and I could go on with a list of all of these are free apps that you can download on your portable device and then get a feed into our radio show, which, as I heard, 5 days, 5 p.m., 5 different ways. AM, FM, the app, our website also. You can go to automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Go to the top of the page where it says The Real Estate Show. Click on the listen live at 5. Or if you missed the 5 o'clock hour, no problem. You can listen to the rebroadcast, which is archived and housed on our website, automaticlandlord.com. You can even download the podcast version and take us with you on your next flight or wherever you're out of, if you're not on the internet. And then finally, you can listen and watch us on our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. All one word, The Real Estate Show. And if you have a Facebook account, you don't need the facebook.com part. Just go straight there and you'll see our happy little show as we broadcast the radio show. We got a great show for you today. As you know, yesterday on Monday, we start out by laying out our agenda for the week. We also lay the theme for the week. And the theme this week, following several weeks of talking about landlording, we went to the other side of the coin and started talking about iBuyers. And contrary to common perception, iBuyers are not the instant buyers that some people use. And I think a lot of mom and pop would like you to believe it's instant buyers. You know, those signs on the side of the road that say, you know, we buy houses cash, we'll, close quickly on the date of your choice. Well, that would be an instant buyer, but that's not what the iBuyers that you hear talking about are. Those are just cash buyers out there. Good to have a list of those people. But the iBuyers is not the instant buyers. Some people call them internet buyers because a lot of these buyers are using online techniques. They're called automated valuation models, AVMs. And what they're doing is that they're automating a lot of this process. So before they even pick up the phone or drop you a postcard, they already know more or less, within reason, what the value is of the property, and they're going to be making offers at a percentage of those properties because that's their business model. And that's not who I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about investment internet buyers. I'm not talking about instant buyers and or investment buyers. Okay, that's a whole general category. Would be a natural flow from our conversation of landlords last week, but that's not what the I stands for in iBuyers. The iBuyers that we're talking about, the iBuyers that you hear spoken about on the news and on the headlines there, are what are known as institutional buyers. Now, they have all the characteristics of instant buyers, investment buyers, and even internet buyers. In fact, a lot of these are internet powerhouses. We talked a lot yesterday about one of the big three, which is Zillow. By now, if you haven't heard of Zillow and if you haven't experienced a little bit of Zillow, then you're definitely not in real estate yet. Because if you're a real estate professional, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a real estate investor, they're definitely on your radar screen. So what we want to talk about today is what you need to know about these very ominous in iBuyers here. And so the big question that I say that this is really all about these institutional buyers, which, by the way, like I said, have a big internet presence, and even more importantly, have big bank accounts. And they have an almost insatiable appetite to buy real estate at the right price. And so this is what you need to know about these all cash buyers, that you're really looking at making a decision between top dollar. And in a very hot market that we're in right now, is that you have to choose between top dollar, wait around, work with realtors, work with cash buyer or regular buyers that are coming through, deal with mortgages, deal with inspections and all that other stuff, or convenience. Just give one of these iBuyers a call, and they have their own little process. But you may never have to show your house but once, because they will want to have a tour of the house to see. They're not going to buy it sight unseen. But it may be a nice way of having a certain sale. I imagine that relocation companies are taking notice of these iBuyers, because it used to be that you'd have a relocation company come in and assess your value, and then give you guidance in the new city. And there's usually 2 points connected, and that's why the relocation, the good ones, will do fine in the future. But the not so good ones, services are no longer needed when it comes to this situation. So let's talk a little bit about that. You can get a cash offer very quickly on your home, or even better, you've seen the I Buy Ugly Houses billboards out there. Another example of these cash buyers. And now I understand that they have even come together and pooled their own funds. They also have behind them a number of institutional financing companies, but they're not necessarily the ones. The way that the We Buy Ugly Houses works is that they are individual licensees or franchises, and you buy a territory of that. You pay your royalties, and they take care of the TV. The home office takes care of the TV advertising, getting all the big billboards and so forth. And then from those billboards, depending on what zip codes are owned by their franchisees, when the call comes in, if you own the territory for 33308, well, then you get that lead. And so it's an interesting thing, but not really an iBuyer. So what and who are these programs, and are they safe is a first question. Are they worth it is another question. Or is it just another one of these fly-by-night scam, short-term fads? We're going to talk about that. Interestingly enough, though, this is actually not a fly-by-night or something short-lived. I think this is part of the conversion that's going on in the real estate world. And as you can imagine that in this pandemic, where we went to, sheltering in place, highly online, as much automation as possible, you can imagine that they too have been catapulted forward. And one of the other reasons why I say that there's another element of strong demand in the back, that when all the Northeasterners and the Midwesterners that are relocating out of the big busy cities, moving into the more suburban areas, the Floridas, the Texas, and those areas, even when that subsides, there's all that institutional money that is lying there in the background. So I think you're going to be hearing more about it as these funds continue to raise money and to expand. So like I said, the iBuyer, generally known in the real estate industry as an institutional company, it uses the automated valuation model, like I said, and one of the ones that you might be the most familiar with is the Zestimate, which is the branded real estate estimate by Zillow, and other technology. And there is a whole menu of that technology out there to identify one of the hardest parts if you're a real estate investor, and you'll know how that feeling is right now in this tough and competitive market, to identify potential properties, which is one of the reasons why the aforementioned website that I have mentioned a couple of times, we talked about this more in depth yesterday in the show, they became a high traffic area where people went and got free, quote unquote, free information about how they could learn more about real estate, values, see pictures, that nosy neighbor kind of thing going on. What's my neighbor's house worth? It just sold. They listed it. Can we go and look at some pictures? Because needless to say, Zillow would house all of the realtor.com photos. And all that, by the way, has changed a little bit since Zillow itself came into the real estate business to compete with real estate agents out there. So that technology is out there to identify and now purchase homes like yours that meet their purchasing investment criteria. We're going to talk more about that during this week, because that is a fundamental principle to understand, is what is their investment criteria. If you fit into it, and think about this, my real estate investors, friends out there, that if you had a purchase order of what you needed to go out and buy, and you had a big customer with a purchase order that said, listen, I want to buy every 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in this zip code that meets this criteria of square footage, age, condition, etc., then doesn't that make your job 50% easier? Because now you already have taken care of the sales side. Now you just got to go out there and help to find the buy side, which once again, now you've got this little army of real estate investors. You've got this big army of real estate agents, all funded and motivated by this huge iBuyer investment fund. So after identifying the homes that meet its investment criteria, the iBuyer may provide homeowners with written offers, and sometimes they're going direct. P.S. That's what they're hoping for with all of their internet advertising, is that they jump over the middleman, whether it be the investor, the real estate agent, or anybody else in between. They would love and prefer to go direct to the seller, and then they can make offers, and in many cases have a little bit of a negotiating advantage, because you're talking about a professional with deep pockets and a lot of experience and a lot of data negotiating, versus a homeowner who may or may not have access to any information whatsoever about the real estate market. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Hear a few words from our sponsors. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about what you need to know about these all cash buyers, the iBuyers. Is it a decision between convenience and top dollar price? Stay tuned. We're going to be talking more about that for the rest of today's program here on our tips, tools, and techniques. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. Don't touch that dial, because we will be right back. Erica Marie, I see you there. And I see you there. Here at the Real Estate Show Studios in Boca Raton. Speaking about Boca Raton, there's Simone from Boca Raton. How are you feeling today? I wasn't even all the way plugged in. I just realized it was coming in and out of my headset, and I realized that it was actually me. So, boom. Busy day. Moved a lot of furniture. What you don't do for your girl. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show all about real estate. And I was just having a little smile, a little chat over here in the interim here in the Real Estate Show studios. And just talking, I just came up in the process of a move, getting ready, a new studio, new house, new everything. And And it was amazing because I did a whole bunch of stuff there, and I was by myself. And so, it made me think about, the radio shows. I'm in my mind thinking about what we're going to talk about later on. And I'm moving furniture. A lot of it, well, in fact, today, all the stuff that I was moving was by myself. But it was interesting because I moved this really huge, bulky sofa. And across the street from me is a house that's also under construction. And there was a bunch of workers there, and I was saving the big bulky stuff to the very end so that if I had to, I could go over there and maybe bribe one of the laborers over there to come over there and help me finish working it out. But I did have a dolly, I did have a hand truck, and some different piece sizes of wood, and I was able to engineer and move all the stuff back, all with the audience of the laborers over there, watching me, and I could see that they were kind of humored watching somebody, struggle and move all of this stuff. But I was thinking to myself, with a little bit of engineering and the right tools, it's amazing what you can get done. Which brings us back to the conversation about the iBuyers, and what they have done is used engineering, technology, big data, and the efficiencies that brings to the buyer and gives them a huge advantage. And when they use that advantage in the right way, just like a one-man moving company here, they can get a lot done. And here's, continuing on our conversation from the first half. Once they have identified the property using technology, using advertising, social media, all the tools that they have at their disposition, which the average mom and pop investor does not, at least not at the scale and magnitude that they do, they then make offers to purchase the homes, and as long as they meet the criteria. So I wanted to take a little bit of a pause and talk a little bit about the criteria, because I want to give you a little bit of an advantage, since I already told you that they already came to the table with a big advantage, not even mentioning the fact that they come with the table of the ability to raise large sums of money through public offerings, through their network of big institutions from one to another. And what they're looking for, so that number one, they're looking for their terms, right? They're going to make you an offer which is their policy, right? That's their modus operandi. They work within the framework. So if you can figure out what their framework is, you can now play within the framework and get the best possible deal for you if you like the framework that they're working on. And that's the big choice. You can, a little more work, a little more effort, go and work a direct one-to-one sale with a regular buyer, or a lot less hassle, much more certainty, and I would even say a lot less effort. You can go straight to the iBuyer. So they're going to be looking for their specific terms. Now, one of the advantages and one of their terms is all cash. All cash. They will show up on the agreed upon date. So the date is the other element of the terms, which is negotiable. They may say that you've got to be out in 30 days, or they may be quite polite and say, listen, you tell us when you want to close, and then we will factor that in. Notice, factor that in accordingly. They will give you more if you work within their time frame. They may take a little away if you want them to work in your time frame. But yeah, it's a give and take, and it might be worth, if you need to find another property or another place to move, another place to relocate to, or if it's a property that has no timeline, then you can work within there, maximize. The second thing that they're looking for, and this you might not think about, but they're looking for a homogeneous market. Now, what does that mean? They're looking for a market where there's a lot of properties that are very similar, because what they're really trading in is a commodity. Could be a widget, it happens to be a house. And so they don't want one-off properties. They're not looking for the best property in the neighborhood. They're not looking for the most unique property in the neighborhood. In fact, on the contrary. So if you have a very special and unique property, I'm going to tell you that the iBuyer is not for you. So they're looking for a homogeneous market, because in volume, in the the similarity of all the properties and the population of it, there's always somebody looking, there's always somebody selling, there's always somebody buying in that market environment. So just keep in mind, because it's on their sheet that they're not going to show you. It's kind of like holding a deck of cards, and they're looking at what are the terms, what is the closing date, do they want all cash, and are they in a homogeneous market? And then depending on which ones, and the iBuyers are not all the same. Some of them buy, fix, and sell, just like us investors. Some of them buy and hold. In parentheses, because does vacation, or I should say invitation homes, ring a bell? Does Blackstone ring a bell? So you've got that. So we talked about yesterday the three big ones: Zillow, OfferPad, Open Door, Express Offers is another one. So after they identify the properties, all of these guys that meet their investment criteria, an iBuyer may provide homeowners with written offers, often on terms that may be favorable to the homeowner in certain circumstances. A homeowner is never obligated to accept the iBuyer's offer, just like any other offer. If the homeowner accepts the iBuyer's offer, then the homeowner and the iBuyer, they enter into a contract. It's not going to be the same contract very often. They put all the terms that meet, remember, their terms, the ones that they require, they already have their own special contracts. They don't have to use the standard real estate association contracts. Then they go ahead and proceed to closing. They will do an inspection. They may then take some deductions for repairs. If after they purchase a home and they make improvements and it's repairs to the home, and then oftentimes they go and take that same property and put it right back on the market. You'll see a lot of times the terms about that in their offer contract. They're telling you, listen, I'm buying this, and I need to make a profit. So that's why there is sort of a standard margin that they take off in a lot of the cases. So some of them will hold on it and rent on it. So they're looking for that, rental numbers. And we're going to talk more about that in a couple of weeks as we go back into the buy and hold strategies of real estate. But most iBuyers choose to resell the homes that they purchase to third parties for a profit, while only some of them choose to rent and hold on to it. And those are the bigger ones, and I gave you some of those names. Homeowners find that selling to an iBuyer eliminates their risks of uncertainty. We talked about that in today's show. Due to the fluctuations in the real estate market, because once they're under contract, they do close. Also, the uncertainties of interest rates, and right now that is a concern. And because these transactions are less likely to fall through or fall out of escrow, there is less of an adverse emotional impact on homeowners resulting from the transactions that do fall apart when people who don't qualify, don't meet the affordability, or they can't afford the rising interest rates, the rising home prices, and so forth. You don't have that with an institutional buyer. Anyway, I hope that gave you a couple of good tips, a couple of good techniques to deal with that. Of course, if you always have a question about that, you can always give us a call, toll free, 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. You can always email us on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Remember, tonight is our credit workshop. If you want to attend and learn more about credit, type credit to our smart line. That's 561-861-2366. And tomorrow night, stay tuned. Tomorrow night, we got a brand new workshop, our Biz Connect. And you want to stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to talk all about that. Well, that's it for me. That's Eric Willner signing off. Until tomorrow, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. That's a wrap. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the feedback. Thanks. You too. Take care, Brian.